Hey, how you going? I'm called Heketoa. Welcome to my channel, Grip, Hike, Hinge, Spike. Now, in today's video, I'm going to talk about the kettlebells, obviously. I'm going to go from talking about plastic ones all the way over to the metal ones. Now, this is an updated version on the video I did in the past, because now I can actually just show you a bit more of the little nuances and the differences when it comes to size, shape, color, obviously, and also just with body anatomy, because some of us are bigger people and some of us are smaller people, like myself. Okay, so let's just start with the plastic one, right? The plastic kettlebell. This kettlebell is made with plastic, obviously. It's plastic coating on it, but inside is is concrete, and that concrete obviously is going through this little hole in the bottom here. But these are quite affordable. They're quite cheap kettlebells. They're good to use if you're absolute beginner and you don't want to spend too much money figuring out if kettlebells are what you want to use long term and so on. So this is a great version to use. The handle's a little bit small, so if you've got big hands, this handle is probably not ideal for you. And also, it's when you start working out with this, once you start getting your hands start getting sweaty, this is actually quite slippery. Even though there's a bit of a coarse coating on here on the handle, it's still quite slippery, and so therefore you're probably going to lose it. These are not very durable too, by the way. If you drop it, it's not going to last long. The coating will crack, and then the concrete will spill out. So it's pretty much your really budget version. Okay, so now you've got the cast iron kettlebells. Now with the cast iron kettlebells, they are made of iron. They're actually really durable, a great product to buy and use, but there are some differences that you need to be aware of if purchasing a cast iron kettlebell. As you can see, this is a 12 kilo kettlebell. This is it says 15, but it actually weighs 16 for some reason, don't know why. You can see just immediately when you're looking at it, you can see that there is a difference in height, right? A difference in height from the floor to the top of the handle. There's also a difference in body size. As you can see, we'll just pop it up here. You see the size difference. It's quite marked. And so what it means is the heavier the weight, the bigger the body of the kettlebell, this body here. And so, there's an adjustment with the way you hold this kettlebell, especially if you're holding it by the waist to do presses and all sorts of other exercises. And of course, when it's a smaller body, obviously, if you've got small hands, these are easy to kind of get around. But so as I said, it goes from 12 to 15 kilos and 16 kilos. The higher it gets, the more bulkier it gets. It gets to this size, but sometimes bigger. So that's something that you need to consider when buying a cast iron kettlebell. Now, the other thing with the cast iron kettlebell, the windows are actually quite generous. They're very similar to these kettlebells, the metal kettlebells. They are, so remember, they're 60 millimeters this way from here to here, and they're 12 across. Same with the smaller ones. So the handle size on the smaller and the bigger kettlebells are virtually the same. But be warned, when you do get into 20, 24, 30, 40 kilogram kettlebells, this handle can get really big. Like, it can almost be like, you fit 4 hands in there. So it's something to think about. They're great, they're durable. I work with these because they're just when I think for the most part the best thing about these is if you've got small hands and you're a smaller frame person or smaller limbs, this is a perfect kettlebell to use because it's not cumbersome, and you can go up, you can stay with these weights and move it around quite easily. And so, especially when you're doing clean exercise or you're using doubles, they fit between your legs quite easily, and so it's just a little bit more comfortable to use when you're a smaller person. Not to say that you shouldn't use it if you're a bigger person. Okay, so they're quite affordable. You're not paying too much for these, but of course, the bigger the outlet, the bigger the brand, the more it costs. So be aware of that. Now, these are your metal kettlebells. Now, as you can see, these kettlebells are basically the same height. They're all the same height, virtually the same height. Okay, which makes it really good for when you're using technique and the way you hold the kettlebell and the way you move the kettlebell, because it just allows your body to get used to the size of it and the shape of it, and therefore the way you move it and the way you work with it, the technique doesn't change. They can stay the same. They're the same height as well. As you can see, they're the same height. All the same height. And they're also, as you can see, they're all the same body size, which is really good. So this is an 8 kilo kettlebell. This is a 12 kilo kettlebell. This is 18 kilo kettlebell. So you're going from the lighter one, and it doesn't matter whether you're going from the 8 kilo to the 12 kilo, which is 4 kilos heavier, it's the same shape. So the great thing about these metal kettlebells is that there's a color code, and that color code is really important when you just want to go into the gym and look at the set of kettlebells and go, yes, I know what size that kettlebell is. Pink always indicates 4 kilos. Blue always should indicate 12 kilos. This, unfortunately, is the wrong color. It should be a yellow, because yellow indicates 16. And if it had a band on it, being 18 kilos, it'd be yellow plus a purple band on it to indicate the next color, which is purple with 24 kilos. But anyway, what's really important about these is how you can handle these kettlebells so easily and get used to the shape of it and how it sits on your body and how it sits in the pocket of your bicep, and how you can manage it with your hands. The handle finish is great. There's no burrs on these ones. Sometimes you can get a bit, your hands can get a bit chopped up by the cast iron kettlebells, but it's a small thing. Once you get strong and you build all your calluses up and get strength in your hands, you won't worry about it anymore. But these are great. They can be a bit slippery if you get really sweaty, but there's always chalk. You can use chalk with them. I don't use chalk. I tend to get by. I can go an hour and 10 minutes or an hour and 20 minutes, be sweaty and still be able to hold on to these kettlebells. So color difference. Now, let me show you another a big advantage with these kettlebells, being the competition kettlebells. The big advantage of these is not only is it color, but also you can use them with you can use them to do other exercises that are not particularly kettlebell exercises, but they can enhance your overall fitness. Just a small demonstration. Now, the great thing about these, because they're solid and they're quite big on the bottom, you can use them to do other exercises like push-ups, right? So we can go down, oof, and push up. Like for example, we've got two big ones, 2 8s. You go from here, right? It's very stable. So we got the end of going, and up and down. Now, there's a few adjustments when you're working with metal kettlebells as well, because they're a little bit bigger, you tend to have a bigger stance when doing double movements, such as we're going into just your normal kettlebell clean. You need a slightly wider stance to be able to get those bells through, and you want to work it on the angle so that you have the ability to clean like so. Clean position, and we are just hook it up, right? So it's a little bit wider stance. So that's a little adjustment you have to make when you're dealing with the metal kettlebells. Otherwise, whatever you choose to do, whatever you choose to buy, think about the durability of the kettlebell. Whether you want to go out cheapo, or you want to go durable but kind of small, or you want to go with the metal kettlebells. Now, they all have their good points, and but I think for durability, I recommend going for your metal kettlebells, but these are just as good cast iron. It all depends on how you want to work with kettlebells and what you're comfortable with. I love the cast iron kettlebells because they're robust. I just love the sound of it when I drop it or I throw it around. I just love the cleaning sound. These make these sounds when they clean. When you've got two cast irons, they make that kind of sound. I love that robustness of it. So I do a lot of work with the cast iron kettlebells. So if you do have a question, please ask your question in the comments section, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And also, do like and subscribe. It does help me out with the logarithms and everything else. And thank you so much. And we'll see you next time. Take care.